Hey guys, Ronin Man here. Early morning, it's like 7 in the morning. We're gonna go down to the park in Thailand and gonna head to the beach. My buddy's in town here. Say hi there.
Hey, what's up guys?
Yeah, we're gonna cruise down.
Jet lag.
Oh yeah, jet lag, fuck. Early morning. Fucking hard to get some sleep and every fucking thing. We got some good food in us, you know, we got some good vegetables, some turmeric, some ginger, some garlic, some green leafy stuff, and some okra. So, and then we got some eggs, boiled eggs, what else? Peanuts, coffee, bananas, Thai bananas, which are really great. They're like tiny little things. They're not GMO. They're like these natural bananas like we used to have, you know? And cool stuff. They cost like 10 baht for two. 10 baht is about 30 cents. So it's amazing deal too. And they're like pretty fat too, you know, they're pretty filling. But yeah, so today, like I want to talk about something. I got a comment. Unfortunately, I don't have his username right now, but I'll put it on his comment. And the guy said, and there was a couple people saying this, that the Ronin Man channel has become Disneyfied. So it's basically like, as the channel's going on, they essentially saying it's fake. Like it's becoming like I am not being myself or selling out or something like that. There's something like that kind of feeling to it. And I don't want to, at the same time, I don't want to make a straw man argument either. And I want to say that it is a fair comment. And I think that, honestly, fuck, listen, man, the thing is, most things do get Disneyfied. Like honestly, if you watch any fucking TV show, if you watch any radio station, as they get larger, they do become bullshit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like most bands, they start out one way, like being themselves, and then they fucking sell out, right? It's just really common. So the idea that the Ronin Man channel is going to become a sellout would be a fair, I would say, assumption about where the channel could go,
especially as it grows.
Yeah,
it could be that more people are getting involved, you know, maybe sponsors or anything, something like that. That's usually what poisons all these other channels or bands, or you know what I mean?
Right, sponsorship. That's
more opinions.
Right. There's two things I would say that make people sell out. One is like sponsorship. So basically, who's calling the shots, right? Exactly. Who's paying the bills? Now I don't do ads. If ads are showing up, let me know, because I have it specifically said not to monetize ads. I don't like this. I think it's lame. I'm not into it. And if you notice, I don't, my old link, I used to say donations. I don't like donations. I'm not really into donations. Fuck donations, really. If you see value and you want to buy something like unblackmailable, like if you want to change your life, I can help somebody do that. And I've done that a lot. So that's totally cool, but that's like a personal thing, right? But if somebody just wants to, yeah, I don't like the begging idea. I mean, of course, you know, Christmas, people give presents. I mean, someone wants to give presents, totally fine, but it's not my thing. It's not my, I don't think donations is the way to go. And so, okay, so I don't have that so much, but the other thing would be the channel grows and you get a lot of people on there. Well, the other thing is that the guy just becomes a cheese bag, or is it one-trick pony? Because some guys, they only have so many ideas, right? So like, they kind of like Disneyfy in the sense that they don't have anything else to say. It's kind of like the end of their wisdom, you know? A lot of books are like that. If you read the book, there's only really one good idea in it, right?
Yeah.
And that's, you just have to understand that one idea, you basically got the book. The only reason why they make a whole book out of it is so they can sell a book on Amazon.
Exactly.
I fucking hate that. I really fucking hate that personally. And I actually really hate sellouts. You know, that's like one of my things. I don't like.
What do you define as a sellout?
For me, what do I think is a sellout? Okay, let me think here. It's really complex, and I can't answer that in one sentence. There's going to be like a podcast to answer that, because it really is difficult, because what can look like a sellout to somebody else might not be a sellout to that guy, and what might look like it isn't could very, very easily be a sellout. So let's think about that, you know. So I would say first, to start off, the argument was not that good. I didn't think it was that good. Although the comment is fair. I mean, I'm giving it, this is really like, I take it totally seriously. But the idea that I think they said something like I'm an MRA And that's actually true. I think men's rights are very important, you know. I think men's rights are important. I think that men are getting fucked. There's no doubt about it, guys. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. It all matters in the sense that here's where men's rights fit in with MGTOW, is that you can do everything you can to have a free life. But if the law is set up to fuck you in the ass, there's nothing, you know what I mean? Like there's no, it's kind of like the divorce law is screwed. So if you get married, then you're fucked. It doesn't matter how cool of a guy you are, and it doesn't matter how hard you try. The law has to be changed, right? So sometimes laws need to be changed, and that is what I agree with men's rights activists, is that they are trying to change the laws. And I think to not be in support of men trying to change laws to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve on your own. For example, to be free, to pay less tax, you know, things like this. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all, right? It's like you want both, right? You want like a structure of society that makes sense, and then you also want your own life as an individual to be kick-ass, right? You know, doing the best you can as an individual, because society can't do it all for you, right? You have to, a lot of it is your own work, right? So it's a mix, right? It's an absolute mix. If it's illegal to be a Jew, for example, and you get thrown in jail for being a Jew, no matter how cool a guy you are, and you go to the gym all the time, and you have good friends and everything, then you're fucked, right? There's nothing you can, it doesn't, you know, your rights as your legal rights, they really do matter, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the rights you have, the human rights. The reason why they have human rights is because they fucking matter. You know, like, maybe they get overblown or whatever, but the reason why they're there is because if you don't have them, then everything changes and gets all fucked up. So I think that the idea that your rights, men's rights and women's rights, human rights, don't matter at all, or that anybody that cares about human rights or the structure of society is a loser or totally incompatible with somebody who's trying to have a good life. To me, it's just not logical. It doesn't make sense, because I appreciate, for example, I appreciate somebody who drives a bus, right? You know, like they're out there driving a bus. Like, I'm not driving a bus. They're driving a bus. But last night we got on that bus and we came across town for 7 baht, which is 25 cents or 20 cents, right? And I really appreciate that. Now, I'm not a bus driver, but I will ride a bus and jump on a bus, right? So men's rights guys are out there doing things, changing society, and then that might help me at some point. That doesn't mean I'm doing it myself, but I still appreciate them. I mean, why would I not appreciate them improving the divorce laws or child custody laws or anything with lower taxes, or, you know, anything that, you know, easier to start a business, or less liability for men on some issue. You know, like, this could benefit me at some point. I think not appreciating their hard work is crazy. You know, it would be kind of like people who don't appreciate slaves, right? Like, slavery was abolished by a law. So an individual slave could try his best to go to the gym, lift logs, you know, lift rocks, and he could become a very cool guy and educated, but he was still a slave by law. He was the owner, he was the property of some other guy, right? But then as slavery was abolished by law, it helped him a lot, because he still has all his skills of, you know, improving himself and everything. But now the police aren't chasing him. He's not hiding in the bushes, right? And also he can have a family, he can have a house, he can live in a place without hiding all the time, right? So I think the slavery law helped slaves a lot. You know, releasing the slaves legally had benefit. I don't see how you could argue that that's not true. Like, of course you can do individual all you want, but these laws, they make a huge difference. So I think that, of course, we should, I mean, I don't know, we should do anything. Fuck, you do whatever you want, but I personally see value in other people doing organized things, and I appreciate their efforts, even though I don't personally, I'm not out there. Like, I personally am kind of a rebel against society. Like, I left the US in the 1980s, and I've been gone ever since. So to me, the laws in the US don't matter that much. But even then I still do appreciate it. When I see like a law change for the better for men in America, I always think, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know? There's nothing wrong with that, you know? So that's the first thing. So MRA is not a put down, you know. There's nothing wrong with MRAs. Hey, I support MRAs. I said in the very beginning of the channel that I don't agree with just hating MRAs for like just point blank for no reason. Like, hey, I don't like MRAs. I'm not an MRA. I'm not an MRA, right? You know, otherwise I'd be in the US. I'd be fine.
You're smart enough to accept that not everything they say or some of what they say is very valuable and you can use to improve your life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not looking at the label, but more so at the ideas. You're able to dissect the ideas and not be like shocked off by the label of MRA. You go, MRA, okay, maybe that's not for me, but they do have at least maybe like 10% good ideas that I can use and reframe or use from.
Well, they're building a structure, so it's like somebody else built the internet, right? They built the nodes and things like that for Bitcoin, for the internet. Now I might buy Bitcoin as an individual, but I appreciate the guys who wrote, you know, like for example the Satoshi white paper, the guy who wrote that, the people who developed the infrastructure for mining and things like that. And same with the internet. I appreciate that, even though I'm not an internet infrastructure guy. I just use the internet for myself as a, you know, as the best I can, right? So I still appreciate these large things. That's the first thing. Like, so I appreciate GPS, for example, even though I'm just a user of GPS. You know, I didn't make any satellites. I didn't dig a hole in my backyard and mine the different materials that you need to make the steel to make the satellite, you know, or the different panels that you need for the solar panel. I didn't dig a hole in the ground and mine these things and put them, you know, manufacture them, but I do use the internet. So I think that's the way to look at these different things, is have appreciation for what others do. There's nothing wrong with the guy who makes a satellite. He's a good guy, you know. And so the next thing I'd say is the channel being Disneyfied? Very fair question. I'm gonna say here's kind of my first reaction is there's a lot of ideas. There's almost 200 videos now. Some of them are an hour or two long. Like, if someone feels the channel is becoming Disneyfied, in other words, they kind of feel it's selling out, it's getting boring, as a kind of an entertainment type of thing, right? It's like watching a TV show or something, right? I would say, like, I'm here in Thailand. This video is live. It's a recording. I just read the comment this morning from my friend. Right now, I haven't had a job my whole life. I don't go to work. Like, I don't go to jobs. I don't live in the US. I travel where I want. Today I'm going to the beach for a few days. So you'll see some beach videos coming up, right? And I spend most of my time with my friends. So my buddy's here from Germany. We're having a fucking great time. You know, we're laughing our butts off, you know? Let's see. And then this is not bragging. This is leading up to a point. Let's say I'm in good shape. You know, I'm like fucking, like, I don't know what my body fat is. It's fucking low as fuck. I'm in the best shape of my life. I do yoga. I'm flexible. I'm 50. I'll be 54 this month. So I feel great. My mind is, you know, I feel good. I have an online business that pays me to, you know, just basically get money online, so I don't have to go to work or have a boss or anything. I don't have a boss telling me what to do, so I don't kiss ass to somebody else. There's no man in this world who tells Ronin what to do. I will listen because I think that there's a lot of value in other men, other women also.
Do you think that
wisdom,
that freedom mindset, I guess I would just call it freedom mindset,
yeah, okay,
because you built yourself like a free, you have a body,
yeah,
you're not restricted, you're not in a wheelchair, you know.
Right.
So you're very free, right? You don't have
right,
anyone telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Does that also like affect your, I'd say, the way you approach certain topics, like MGTOW, for example? Does that give you like a certain freedom in approaching, like?
Oh, for sure,
yeah,
for sure. So here's, yeah, it's a really good question, because what it is before you do something, so I would say one question to the guy who wrote the comment would be, are you a free man? And have you been free for decades? Or do you have a job? First question. If you've been free for decades, or I don't know your age, but if you're a totally free man, you don't answer to anybody, that's a good step. Are you in great shape? Like, are you rock solid? Right? Next thing. Are you eating well? You know, do you have enough money to eat? You know, do you have a lot of good friends who come out and see you all the time because they want to hang out, right?
Yeah. Do you make a lot of choices for yourself, or most choices in your life, or are they being made for you, basically, right?
Right,
like
right.
How many choices do you make?
Right.
Did you become MGTOW because you are, you know, you want to do it, or is it because of pain, which drives a lot of people to the wrong things, I guess, too?
Well, I think starting from pain is good, but yeah, it's like you don't want to stay in that pain.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Right. So, is your life like? Are you walking around right now when you're listening to this? Are you in a place like this? You know, there's not. This is not pollution. This is like a nice misty morning, right? Are you in a nice? I'm wearing t-shirts and shorts, right? You know, like here's my. I don't know if you can see my clothes here, right? And so it's warm, right? And let's see what else. Are you at peace? You know, like, are you at peace? Do you feel comfortable with yourself? Have you worked on yourself enough that you sleep well? You know, for example, you know, are you comfortable with the goals you have, and do they match the real you at this moment? You know, or are you watching a channel like this as entertainment? Which is not I'm not saying it's bad. Watching this channel as entertainment. I'm not like saying this is the ultimate put down, like, oh man, no. Like, a lot of guys don't even study. You know, they don't even fucking watch anything. All they do is watch like fucking The Bachelor, you know what I mean, or some Netflix or whatever. You know, I mean, I think that there is a level that anybody on this channel is at, you know, and yeah. So that is essentially a good thing, you know. Studying on YouTube is fucking, to me, it's just shit, you know. It's like, yeah. I learned so much on YouTube. It's just like, it's ridiculous, really. So, or are you still, if you're not at this level on these different things, are you still looking as entertainment? Because what happens is, if you're just looking as entertainment, it's going to be easy to be judgmental. Because you're going to look at someone like me, you're going to say, is this guy perfect, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like listen to his advice if he's not perfect, right? Because, you know, like, I want a perfect guy. I'm going to look for another channel with the perfect MGTOW, with the perfect way of thinking, that's got the perfect thing. The problem with the perfect thinking in my mind is that as you do things, you change. Exactly. And it's very difficult when you first start something to understand the mindset, let's say, of a master. Okay, so for example, a yoga master, or like when I first got to Asia and I saw guys who had spent their whole life living overseas, like, I really could not understand them, because they weren't interested in things I was interested in, you know. Like, I was interested in very different things. I wanted to go see temples. I wanted to I was very interested in girls. You know, these guys, they were like super peaceful. They would like sit in their small neighborhood. You know, they'd sip tea. They had a little chair out front of their house, you know. And they were like, I called them Asia rats, you know. They were like, I really wanted to be an Asia rat, because I could see that these guys, although
Westerners or
Westerners, okay. Westerners who had lived over here for a long time, and I saw that they were different than me, but I respected them. I knew that I couldn't understand where they're coming from, but I knew that if I probably stayed here long enough, I probably very, very likely would have a similar outlook as them, right? At some point, because, you know, like as you go through something, you change, right? You start in the beginning, you're one mindset. Then as you get deeper and deeper, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years into something, your mindset will just naturally change. There's no way you can say the same, and you shouldn't say the same. And also, this is like a really key thing, and this is actually gets to the heart of personal transformation, is that you have to let go of what you thought of yourself to change. Like, in other words, the me that is here today, if I saw the me that is here today, in some aspects, me in high school would have thought I was a total idiot. And I have to let that go. My old judgment of myself, because I've learned some things since then. And like my knowledge in high school, I didn't have a full grasp of life yet, you know. I thought I did. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with thinking you do. It's like you only know what you know, right? I mean, like, an 18-year-old kid actually knows a fuck ton, right? You know, yeah. Like, seriously, like, humans are intelligent. Like, that's one of my, and I always say that about women too. Like, any living being, a dog, cat, woman, man, we are all intelligent. Fish. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of instincts.
I think also, like, even like you said, when you're 18, you're designed, or like as a human, you're designed to kind of control your environments, right? Like, so when you're 18, you kind of feel like you're in control of whatever. Like, if you're studying and this and that, and that's where traveling really as soon as you travel to Asia,
Yeah.
you realize, oh, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, right? That's why it's so important too.
Right.
Like it's like a shock, electric shock that you put yourself through. This is literally what you just said, kind of.
Right. So like, you know, for example, like when the video that the comment was on was about, I didn't agree with pump and dump, and also it's just your turn. Now that's easy to when you listen to a Ronin Man video. That's why they're so long, because they're actually very complex. You have to really listen to get what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying don't have short-term relationships. I fucked over 700 women, guys. I'm not turning my back on them. This was my gem. This is why I made the channel, because I thought I could pass on the knowledge that I learned from that to guys who didn't have that experience. And as soon as I saw MGTOW, I saw that guys didn't have my experience. But the thing is, they needed some knowledge that I had gotten. That's how I felt. I felt like there was something I had to share that was useful for people in MGTOW. And also, I have also changed. Like, I am not a PUA anymore. Like, I never considered myself PUA, because PUA didn't even exist when I was doing it. But the idea of fucking a lot of short-term, like that is not me anymore. Like, it's not because I'm Disneyfied. I would say why don't I do it anymore is, well, a lot of it is my age. I'm just not as interested as I used to be in, like, for example, I pretty much know by looking at a woman in clothes exactly what she's going to look like naked. Like, I can even see without even seeing her nipples at all. I can see the shape of the nipples just by the nape of her neck.
So,
you know?
So just to understand for myself, you think innately there's nothing really wrong with that comment because you think of it as a progress? Like, for example, pickup, right?
Yeah.
You're not into pickup anymore, but it got you where you are today, right? You just took that topic, took out of it what you needed, and then progressed from there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's absolutely pretty. It's a logical comment if you're at a certain stage, right?
True. It's like if a guy was like
so you're not thrashing on him.
No. Like for example, let's say a hardcore pickup artist would see me now, and he could easily say, this guy's poison because I need to go out every day. I need to talk to like 15 women a day. I need to get 5 Instagrams. I need to create like a solid Instagram. And this guy's not doing that. So in a sense, he's stopping me from achieving my goals because he's not helping me to motivate me.
And that might be true even at the moment.
Right. For that guy,
for his path.
Yeah, it's like a salesman who needs to make 100 cold calls a day. Otherwise, he doesn't succeed. Like, I was like that.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed, like, I didn't need some fucking guy talking about being comfortable in life. I would get to work, and this is when I was a headhunter. I'd get to work, my office, and I'd just fucking pick up the phone, and I would just start fucking calling people like a madman, like a beast, man. I was a cold calling fucking animal.
How did you react initially to that?
But anybody who got in my way was like, get the fuck out of my way. I don't need this right now. I don't need love. I don't need fucking haircut. I don't need to shave. I don't need a fucking massage. I don't need to read anything. I don't need to learn anything. I need a fucking cold call right now. And that was my mindset. I was an absolute machine. I totally focused on it. And I made millions of dollars doing that. So that was like my mindset at the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then after a while, you do cold calling enough, and what happens is you get clients. And so after you have these clients, you have like, let's say you're dealing with the president of Microsoft or whatever, once you get these clients and they trust you, then your level changes. You're no longer like, your vision is totally different. So a new guy at the company, and here's the thing, it's very easy to do what I'm talking about right now. It's like, for example, you come to a company and you're cold calling like a fucking madman, right? And then you see the older guy there, and he's got his clients and everything, and you think, lazy fuck, like, this guy's not doing shit. I'm doing all the fucking work. I deserve more money. Fuck this old guy. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck these people sitting around, heavy burdens on the company. He's got a big salary. He's got or whatever commission structure, whatever it is. And the thing is, that is a very easy mindset. Now I'm not saying that there are not people like that in companies. Most people are fucking useless. Okay, guys? That's why I made this channel. Like, don't be a fucking useless piece of shit kind of life. Most people are fucking useless. Don't get me wrong. Most companies are full of dicks and idiots. Same thing with the government. They're just a fucking joke. There's only a few people worth a shit in any government or company, right? You got to find those people, and that's why I was a good headhunter, because I totally understood that. We wade through thousands of people to find that one guy who had some skills, who had some talent, who had the work and the drive and the understanding for the position that I needed. I did not get confused with idiots, you know. So I'm not saying that there are not this situation. What I am saying is it's very, very easy when you're new to misunderstand what a experienced, mature leader is going through and what his job is. His job is very different than a guy who's joining the company. And it's a very symbiotic. Like that man sitting there managing those company, managing all those clients. Let's just say he's a very talented, you know, he's a business development. Let's say he's a partner at a consulting company, right? And he's very experienced, right? Now this guy actually looks at you as a new guy. When he sees you cold calling like a fucking madman and bringing in new clients with no knowledge at all, he actually wishes he was you, because he wishes he was young again. Because he remembers when he was young and he was working his ass off and he was just like you. Like he sees all the other guys who aren't getting shit done in the office and they're making fake cold calls. They're just sitting there busy picking up the phone all the time. Whereas you're sitting there like your guts on the fucking floor every night, you know, and you feel like an idiot and you feel like a loser. You feel like you're not good at cold calling or sales, or, you know, because it never feels like you did enough. It never feels like you're good enough. It never feels like you had any progress. It's just how life is. And then like all of a sudden one day somebody says, hey, who is that kid over there? Bring him over here. We need him in this new division, right? And then you're like, oh my God, you mean I'm okay? You know, I remember like people saying like, you know, you're doing a good job. And I thought, I almost like, fuck you, don't say that, because I'm focused, you know, like, but that was it was the voice of reason. See, when you wanna improve your life, you have to have that focus and understand what your job is, what your goals are right now. And then once you achieve those, or once you start to, someone else says you achieve them, you have to take their word for it. You have to say, okay, maybe there's more to life than cold calling. Because I tell you, I'm not saying this excuse, I'm not saying this argument for no reason. I'm a fucking madman cold caller. I am a total madman. Like I am absolute madman. I've had companies call my company, like really, seriously, and say, I don't care what the fuck you're doing, we want to hire you. And I'm like, why? Like someone called somebody else in my company, they're like, that guy who keeps calling us, who is that? And they said, it's Paul. And they said, we want to hire him. And they're like, why? They're like, he's destroying our, he's calling everybody in our fucking company. Like, this is the kind of guy we want on our team. I don't know what you guys are selling, but let's just talk. Let's talk. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like a whole company I was disrupting this company, because I literally is such a rabid cold caller. You cannot fucking believe it. Like I am, that's why I was good at pickup. I'm just like talk. You know, grab her, touch her, talk. I'm just like, that's the way I am. And so like, eventually I get a lot of numbers, I get a lot of Instagram, I fuck a lot of girls. You know, I'm just relentless like that. But the key for me is to realize, okay, wait a second. You know, breathe deep. This is good. This is good. Don't get me wrong. I think my essential skill, my number one skill, is that fucking hardcore. I'm gonna make it goddamn fucking happen. Fuck you. Out of my fucking way, you piece of shit, fat fucking cunt, piece of shit loser. Out of my fucking way. Get out of here. Fuck you. And I just go and do what I need to do. And this attitude is my number one skill. But there is a next level, and there's a next level, and there's a next level. So what I say is, okay, wait a second. And this is what I think to myself when I'm working out every time. You fucking loser, piece of shit. Fucking one more set, you know? Goddamn, one more fucking set. And don't do it lazy like you do. You're doing it fucking fast because it's easy. Fuck you. You know, I'll talk to myself that way, right? And that's how I get the workout in. It's like, it's not about having high self-esteem, right? It's about getting the fucking job done right. So, but that soldier attitude, take the field, take the hill, you know, shoot these guys, you know? It's like, that is only goes so far, because there's the next level when you're like managing people, right? I learned how to manage people when I was an English teacher. I learned how to manage hundreds of students in my class. I learned how to look at 500 girls. I had 500 girls I was teaching in a music school in Tokyo. And I learned that some of them are very nice, most of them are very nice, but some of them would really challenge me, like as a teacher. This is way back in the day, early in my career. This is like a zillion years ago, early 90s. But what happened was that taught me how to manage 500 people at once, you know, because I had all these different people with different personalities. And all of a sudden, it wasn't about me learning. It wasn't about me learning Chinese. It wasn't about me learning Japanese. my skill, my knowledge, my study 24 hours a day, my hard ass on myself. You know, one more rep. That attitude was not necessary now. All of a sudden I found myself in this new environment where I was like, all of a sudden, okay, the King's music is going to come on, so I can't talk here for a second. You know, we're going to have to stop for a second, but I'll let it play so you guys can hear it. But I had to learn how to manage the expectations of numerous people and understand different personalities, understand learning, understand repetition, understand explanations, understand motivation. Okay, so now we can move again. Everybody stops moving here when the King's music comes on. But like I had to learn how to go to the next level, and then after I learned how to be a good teacher, then my job was to learn how to become. Now I never did become an administrator in school because I got out of the business, but I wanted to understand, instead of be resentful at the administrators at the school, how they manage admissions, how they manage grading, because they had the final say in grading. You know, they had to manage revenue, they had to manage marketing of the school, they had to manage the grounds, they had to manage the Department of Education in Japan, Mombusho, and all that. They had their different responsibilities, and I realized that my knowledge as a student was valuable because it taught me how the students think. But then that was only so valuable. Then it was to how to manage them. Then it was how to manage a school. Then it was how to market a school. Then it was how to get accreditation. My brain went through all of these, even though I never did it, my brain went through all these processes. And the interesting thing about our school was it started as a junior college when I was working there. And it did get accredited as a four-year school. So my thinking, actually, like years after I quit, I saw it become a four-year school. I thought, oh, that's what I was thinking. Like, because when you become a four-year school, you get better students, you get more help from the government. Everything changes. It was a two-year school. It was limited by its accreditation. So I'm very interested in that. And then you get to the next level, is like a curriculum of education nationwide and how students need to learn. You know, like there's that kind of level. So I think that it's very, very easy for a student to see an administrator as kind of Disneyfied. And again, I don't want to fucking put this down because this comment is serious. Most people are Disneyfied. Most people are full of fucking shit. You know, honestly, you might be full of shit. You might need to work on yourself. You know, and that's partly why I said don't pump and dump and all that. Now, a guy like me with all these women, probably more women than the guy who made the comment, still doesn't recommend pumping and dumping. You have to think about that. Like, why would a guy like me think that? You know, like, why would a guy like me? Because this is my fucking experience, right? Why would I get to this point? And this is how you broaden your perspective without having experience. It's called learning from others. You want to learn from others' experience because some things you can't experience. So, for example, you know, like there's certain things like you can't go back in time. Right? There's certain things you just can't do, right? But you could learn from reading a biography of some guy in 1700s how he discovered something, right? And how he went through the process of, you know, in that period of time. And then you try to think, how could I use that today, right? And that's what I would say is like the whole men's movement, MGTOW, whatever you call it, whatever the fuck you call it, it doesn't really matter. What we're doing here is changing, and it's going to mature over time. It's gonna grow. It's gonna grow, and there's gonna be bullshit. There's gonna be politics. There's gonna be disagreements. The whole trend could disappear, be replaced by another trend. But the wisdom that came from this, it can't go away. It doesn't go away. So it's going to be used for the next generation in some way. Just like we look now at failed movements and we say, what did we learn from those, right? You know, what do we learn from the alchemists, for example? The alchemists were like, to me, they were kind of the first scientists, you know?
Yeah.
Even though they never turned iron into gold, you know, they never succeeded in their goals, but they did, let's go down here and go back and get to the gym. They really did get into chemistry, really.
Yeah, we should put down the groundwork for the next kind of steps.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so they were valuable, even though they totally failed.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
So if you read a comment like that, yeah?
Yeah.
So which initially is a little bit like challenging, maybe even it gets on your nerves if you didn't have your coffee yet, right?
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to kind of see the bigger picture? Is it initially, did you train your mind to do it initially, or is it like, okay, here's the first reaction, I'm pissed. Let's wait it out for 5 minutes, see what happens, or do you like, how do you react? Because I remember, like, I'm asking you because I have a feeling that when you told me, right, when you read it, right, you had a little bit
a different attitude than
exactly
now.
It was like your eyes weren't fully opened yet, right?
Right. Well, I think, I don't know if they're not fully opened. There's different emotions.
Yeah.
When you learn something or when you grow or whatever, there's different emotions that you experience, right? And those emotions are all natural and healthy and necessary. So when I read something that contradicts what I think, my first reaction is unhappiness, right? It's kind of like when I discover that I have a disease, for example. You know, if I discover that I have a cold, let's say, for example, and I'm like, oh, I got a cold, that's not good. And then I think, well, what should I do to overcome this cold, right? And then it just like quickly go to the next level. But at first, I'm not happy about discovering I have not enough money in my wallet. I have to go to the bank. So my first reaction is, fuck, you know, there's no money in the wallet, right? But the next thing is, okay, is there money in the bank? Yeah, there's money in the bank. If there's not money in the bank, I say, why isn't there money? You know, I have to get into a deeper, and all those things require me to be uncomfortable at some point, right? So when I saw the comment, Disneyfied is it's not a compliment. You know, it's like Disneyfied. It's like a sellout, you know. And I don't consider I'm not into sellouts. And you know, this is not my fucking life. Like, this really is not my life. Now, people that don't know me that well and just see, you know, videos once in a while, or, you know, like they could, you know, your viewpoint is what creates your life, right? So it's very, very easy to think, for example, everybody's a liar if you grew up in a house with your dad and your parents lying, right, or fighting. You know, whatever it is, you know, you naturally assume things about life, right? Like, I assume that everybody on this channel is subject to gravity, for example. But there might be somebody who's not. I don't know. You know, like, it's possible, right? Like, a bird is not really susceptible, right? You know, but I assume that. So I assume that, you know, for example, I assume at this point that most people are pretty comfortable themselves, have quit their jobs, travel wherever they want, like, just kind of are comfortable with themselves, have learned the lessons of life, have challenged themselves, and have gotten to a certain level. That's kind of what I assume. And then when I meet somebody, for example, who's like, you know, severely obese, and I'll say something like, I'll think, why don't they eat healthy food? Like, why don't they, you know, do something about that? And then I realize, oh shit, that's right. People are way at different levels on this stuff. You know, they haven't. I love this little place here, this house. This is like, this land is going to get torn down here soon, but it's pretty cool. We could go inside this building. You can sneak in here. Sometimes I sneak in this building. It's like an old Thai house. There's no one in there. It's like, you can see it's on stilts. It's on stilts for the floods, because there's always floods here. Yeah, this is like old school Thai house, man. Big time.
I would imagine like a Japanese old style house. Is it similar or no?
Well, you know, it depends on where it's built, but no, Japanese houses are different because they have a different, they're not, it's not tropical, it's semi-tropical. Japan is semi-tropical. This is the tropical here. So they have to be on stilts. But semi-tropical is more like Southern California. So now they have completely different architecture and everything, but yeah, they don't do stilts because there's no floods. There is actually floods in Japan, but for some reason they didn't hit it. But it's a good point, because like Asia, there's so many similarities. Like you really realize the longer you're here how many similarities there are.
Yeah.
There's really like so many similarities in culture, in like so many deep things that you realize over time. But yeah, I let myself go through my emotions on things, you know, and then I just kind of like say, okay, it's okay to have this feeling. If it's a natural reaction, then what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
It has a purpose.
Yeah, it's the first step, right? And then they say, okay, it's not like, oh, I was wrong, I was so stupid for being angry. It's like, no, that's like, was that so weird? No, that was the first reaction. And then the second reaction is like, you know, we all go through different things, and I realize that this guy doesn't know me, right? He didn't sleep in my house like you did last night, you know. He didn't see me wake up. He didn't see us last night skip all the taxis to take the bus and wait for the bus, and because we figured that was a smarter thing to do long term than to waste the money, right? He didn't see my thinking process on so many things, right? He just probably sees the channel saying things he doesn't understand. Like, why would a guy want to have a child? He must be an idiot, right? That would be kind of a natural thought. Like, why would a guy want to have a child? You know, like, and then to assume that if you have a child, that means you're living with the child, which is not true, you know. And so, you know, you assume a lot of things when you hear things. You assume that there's only one. Basically, you assume there's only one way to do it. It's the way you know. So, like, if someone says you got to eat right doesn't mean fucking shit, man. Because most people don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
They have no idea what eating right means. That's the problem. Like this morning we were watching that girl there's like a hotel next to my bedroom, and I can look outside and I can see people using all the exercise machines, right? And you can see that they're usually overweight, right? They're overweight, and they're on these running machines, these you know, those long distance running machine type things, and they're doing that every single day, and I see that every day, and I always look at myself in shape, and I never do any of that stuff. And I think those guys don't understand how to get in shape, but they're like really hard working, because you'll see them there at 5:30 in the morning on the running machine, and then you'll see their huge gut hanging out over their belt. And then I think, oh, it's so sad, because he's trying so hard, but he doesn't understand, because he doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't have the insight that he needs, you know, to get to that level, you know. Because I've never looked like that, because I had the insight, right? So it's about keeping an open mind and realizing other people know more than you, or they're farther along the path than you. And also, one thing I really like about the comment is the kind of sharp focus that you don't want to waste your time on idiots, right? Because there are so many people that are not talented. There's so many people that are not honest.
So meaning that he doesn't want to waste time on an
right,
idiot.
right.
Not
he's
you
like
by responding to him.
No, he's
kind of testing if you are an idiot.
He's looking at his schedule. He's looking at his time. He's thinking, what time do I have in life?
Got it. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to waste it on some idiot.
It's true.
And we can go through here. This is a kind of a good shortcut, because this one here is soy. This is soy 10. Soy 8 is a great walk. Okay. You've never been on this one. This is super cool.
It's not a shortcut. I know you, but
no, it is. It is. No, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. If anything, it's same distance. Not any longer.
So it's not a shortcut.
Well, same distance. Same distance. Yeah, because instead of going that way, we're gonna go this way and then this way. But yeah, so I appreciate somebody who doesn't want to waste their time and has essentially a judgment about, you know, one thing I don't like is the idea that, you know, I talked about it in the postmodernism video, but basically there's no right and wrong. And you know, like, everybody has a say, everybody gets a trophy, you know, you should listen to everybody. Yeah. Like, you should listen to me just because I'm this age, or, you know,
everyone should get to score a touchdown.
Yeah, everybody should score a touchdown. Like, this is a fucking video I posted, you know, the guy with cerebral palsy, you know. What a fucking joke. I hate that shit. The guy with cerebral palsy should not get a touchdown because he can't run.
Yeah.
Someone should tackle his fucking ass. Yeah, I would tackle him. Take him out. Yeah, that's a good lesson for him, you know? Yeah,
what's the other lesson, right? It's like, you're special, we make it happen for you.
Well, I think the other lesson is basically it's taking yourself down an illogical path where your brain no longer is necessary.
Yeah.
You know, because in reality, you are subject to gravity, right? And you are subject to aging at some level. Now, of course, you can outsmart it and beat it in many ways, but there are certain things that that you, for example, you can't live to, not yet, to 300 years old, you know. So there's certain things that you are subject to. Other things you can kind of beat with hard work and everything, right? Humans beat poverty, like mankind beat poverty, by technology and hard labor, right?
Exactly.
So otherwise we'd be in the muddy fields with diseases, you know, and just disorganized like animals, essentially, you know, without language, without education and knowledge of our basic things. So these things are valuable, but they don't solve all problems, right? So I think that kid who made the touchdown, he's one step closer to being an idiot. He has a problem with his body, but now he's going to have a problem with his mind. You know, because you could say, oh, he has cerebral palsy, so he understands people are being nice to him, and they're letting him do it. Okay.
We only saw like the 7-second clip of him like running over the finish line, right? But he was like invited, and they picked him, they called him, and then they made sure they had the right size for his clothing and the right helmet and everything. So it took a while. Like he was basically shit talked for like probably, I'd say, like weeks, you know.
I'm guessing it was even worse. I'm guessing he was like on the team.
Nah.
Like, yeah, he was with his uniform just sitting around all the time. Then they decide, hey, he's gonna run a touchdown, you know, or this like really ugly chick's gonna win homecoming win.
Yeah.
You know, I just I think that reality is a much more important thing than feelings. And
that's what I was gonna ask you too, because I saw another clip of like a crippled boy. Obviously, like he couldn't move his legs. Yeah. He only had like crutches on his arms, so that's the way he moved when he wasn't in a wheelchair. Right. And they let him win a jiu-jitsu match, right? Okay. And you could totally see like everyone was clapping in the end. Like the referee counted him out. He won, right? Yeah. So obviously fake. Yeah. But he was super happy about it. Super fucking happy. He was smiling. So, is that really that bad? Obviously, yes, because it's not unrealistic. But what you just said, it's that was actually the answer, I guess. With the feelings are not as important as reality.
Well, I mean, okay, I would say this. I would say that life, in the end, my friend, is complicated. And out of 100 times, I would say 98 times that you're correct, and that I'm correct. Yeah. You know, they should not let him score a touchdown. And, you know, sometimes, who really gives a fuck? And if they want to let people do stuff, and if this is just like society's way. But I personally see a trend, which I don't like. That's why I don't like it. It's not so much the exceptions. I don't mind the exceptions. I think that sometimes you have to relax. Like, you know, sometimes it's work, sometimes it's play, sometimes it's relax. Sometimes there's nothing on your mind at all, and you're totally in a state of bliss. Now, of course, if that's your mindset, you're not going to do very well in life. You might not even be able to eat, and you could end up stealing things because you don't have money. So that would lead to very bad things, right? And then going to jail, right? And so that's not good. So I would say that there's a mix, but in the prism, in the mindset or paradigm of once in a while it's okay to break the rules, I'd say sure. You know, why not let the kid run a touchdown? But I see this happening too much. I think this is dangerous. I really think it's dangerous. I don't like it, this kind of thinking for myself. I will say this, for myself, I don't want any fucking free touchdowns. Like, I don't want Ronin Man to get a free pass. Yeah. I don't want people to say, oh, you know, he did this, so he gets this. No.
So in a way, you're thankful for critical comments.
Oh, I am thankful for the fact that my life is hard. Okay. You know, like some guy said recently, you know, you were part of the 1% or something on my comments. You know, like he had no idea who I was, and I wrote down, I'll tell you quickly my family story. Actually, I'll do that in another video. Yeah. I want to tell my history, and like people will quickly see that's actually not true at all. But that's fine, because you know, a lot of people have that mindset. They see the videos, they see me traveling, and they think he must have had it easy.
Oh, okay.
It must have been easy for him. He must have been 1%. You know, he must be privileged. You know, that kind of thing, right? This is kind of a question in somebody's mind, and I would say that it is a fair question. That's why I answered it very honestly. And the guy said, he actually did a really cool comment after. He said, next time I'll think, I'll wait before I put my foot in my mouth. You know, it was like a kind of cool, because he said, that actually makes sense what you said, you know, because it was my true story, right?
Yeah.
So of course it makes sense. But so yeah, so that's about it. That's all my thoughts on this. So appreciate all your comments. I don't delete comments unless they're racist or really fucked up. I think that it all adds to the discussion. Ronin Man, I always try to reply with like a rational, logical argument or humor or whatever. Like, I think everybody has the right to add their comments, and like it is very easy to misinterpret comments too, you know, and to kind of make straw men out of people, you know, because sometimes you don't spend enough time writing it, or you're like the grammar's not, you know, quite accurate, and so you know, like it's easy to do that. And then it's easy also for somebody to say, you know, just to go on the rampage, like no education, you know, whether like I could, you know, I don't like that kind of thinking either. There's a maturity to rational discussion that is important, and a respect too, you know. So anybody on the channel, I respect you for being on the channel, because the reason why is not because everybody gets a trophy. It's because I know how much shit is out there, and I know how many TV shows are out there. I know how many, you know, fucking fucked up YouTube channels and cat videos there are, you know. And for somebody to be on a channel like this where it's like complex,
and like a fucking 45-minute video too.
45-minute video talking about something that is actually controversial and also contradictory, right? It's not clear. It's not like there's one way to be. It's not like he's wrong, I'm right. It's not like I'm right, he's wrong. It's complex. It's you know, he's right. You know, like you know, it's complex, right? It's like that's the complexity of life, and that's what I want to. That's what I want to bring to life. That's what I enjoy about life. I enjoy the complexities, right? That's why I don't see women one way, and where you might see women one way at this point in your life, but you might later realize, for example, that your mother or somebody else is not exactly the way that you're saying all women are, and that's the road that leads you down. And I would say go down that road. Don't be afraid of this truth. Don't be afraid of things that teach you things that contradict the way you used to be or the way you used to think. And then realize that if you're an intelligent man, you probably weren't entirely wrong. You probably were right, but you might have been missing part of the puzzle. Yeah. There may be a piece you didn't quite get, or there may be a kind of an overall kind of GPS level, satellite level map that you didn't quite see, or even a historical complex understanding of the direction of things and the beginning of trends and the end of trends and all that kind of stuff, right? It's all kind of like part of it, right? Yeah. So like it's okay to let in information. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to let information. It's okay to mature, and it's also okay. The last thing I'll say, it's okay to change totally, and don't bother explaining to people the process you went through. Because like for me, for example, one thing it's not easy for me to do that, because people meet me here, for example, and they think I came to Thailand yesterday, and I don't spend my whole life saying, oh, I've been here in Asia for 30 years and I'm this experienced. It's like, no, hey, how you doing? Good morning. And they might say that, oh, when are you leaving Thailand, or when did you get here? And I'll say, oh, I've been here for a while, you know. It's like I don't have to explain it to them, and I don't have to explain like my knowledge of women. The reason why the Pump and Dump episode went on is because of a lot of interactions I had, you know, hundreds of thousands of interactions that all led to me having a certain opinion about life, you know, and a certain understanding of women and society. And so, you know, I understand, like if someone didn't have that, it would be very, very, very difficult, right? Like understanding Thailand is very difficult if you haven't been here. You think it's all transsexuals, right? We actually see a lot of hardworking people here, and you see homeless people, and you see people doing things and cooking things, and you know, like people that just see, you know, the bad in Thailand or the weird in Thailand. They're out of there. Look at these guys. These are cool guys. These are normal guys. They're going to work. You know, she's having a breakfast there. You know, we're just kind of like, actually these are Chinese tourists, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, here's Thai guys, here's Thai people cooking, you know, and they're just doing their thing, right? There's not transsexuals. They're not weird. They're hardworking, right? And every morning they're here very, very early. There's a taxi driver having some tea or some noodles, you know, in the morning. You know, it's like this guy's cooking, you know, this woman's cooking, you know, they're doing their thing, right? This guy here is a taxi driver on a motorcycle, right? These guys are doing their thing. He's not a transsexual, you know, but it takes time to see that. Your first reaction when you come to Thailand is like, oh, it's this way or that way. But over time you realize, oh my God, these Thai people are cool, you know, like they're doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing, and I respect them. I don't look at them as all being weird or transsexuals or anything, but it took me a while to see that. And also this area here is a bar area, so you're gonna see more of that. So a lot of the things you see in life is where you go, who you associate yourself with, and how much maturity you get, and how much vision you get. So always search for more information. Don't judge yourself or others, but allow yourself to change, allow that new information in, and allow it to hit you emotionally too. You know, life isn't always easy. It's not always like simple, right? Sometimes it can be painful for a while, figuring shit out like this, you know? It's fucking not easy, right? So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting or helpful. I know for myself it was quite useful, you know, to think about this stuff, you know? Because I certainly take the warning. You know, I don't want to become Disneyfied myself, you know? I want to fucking have an awesome life, and, you know, I want to keep on the path. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, and catch you at the beach on the next video.